Good day, collective. It's your girl, Sadi Rose, coming to you with today's word. One thing that I really wish we would do a better job about really focusing on for our kids and for ourselves is what the process of healing should look like when you've experienced trauma, when you are undergoing, illness, when there are mental health indications, like just things that we struggle with, or when it's just wellness, just coping with life, especially when you're growing up in certain environments, or because of your ethnicity or your race or your gender or just your orientation. Like, just how are we coping? Like, how are we dealing with stress? How are we dealing with burnout? How are we dealing with post-COVID world? Like, what does that process of healing look like? And I have to tell y'all, it feels like getting ran over, but it's so worth it. Which brings us to the word for today. All praise to the Most High God. Love to the mother. It's not no joke, y'all. The process of healing, whether it's your illness, like a chronic disease, or if it's spiritual, in terms of just like balancing all the aspects of yourself, or making sure you're in alignment, or if it's mental or emotional or psychological, when you really choose to be honest with yourself, because that's the first step. It's always the first step. And then you allow yourself to feel the emotions that come along with acknowledging that truth. And then you start taking it day by day to actually try to address those things. You will go through many phases. It will be fear. It will be denial. And finally, when you do say, okay, this is happening, then it could be that you pull back because it could be too hard. It could be that you have a lot of ugly cry face moments. Your girl has had a lot of ugly cry face moments, y'all. Like, really, really, and truly. I mean, ugly cry faces in the car, ugly cry faces in the bathroom, ugly cry faces on my knees crying. Like, when you go through it, it feels like you are on fire. And so some people might say, well, why are you going to do it? Why move forward? Because you cannot move forward in your life to be the best version of you unless you get all that baggage up off you. There are a lot of people right now who are choosing to ignore everything wrong in their life because we kind of have been hypnotized to do it. We have been hypnotized to believe that suffering is normal. Like, really, y'all, like, suffering is normal. We sit in our suffering. And like, it feels so different than even when I was growing up, where like we had fun living. We had joy. We had moments of boredom that even felt good. Today, there's not a lot of people, unless you're like in that 1% enjoying living at this point. And that's because, like I said, like, we're sitting in all of the gunk and muck of our lives, even though they're dysfunctional, even though it's sickness, even though it's stopping us from truly being happy in our lives and healthy. We sit in it because to do the hard work and hold ourselves accountable to changing it feels like you're getting ran over. A lot of people are like, forget it. I'd rather just ignore it. I'd rather just, go about my life, live my easy life in confinement. Because that's pretty much what it is if you choose to do that, y'all. Because it'll catch up to us sooner than later. If it's sickness and you choose because you're scared to ignore it, or you don't want to go through the healing process of it or accept it, then it's going to catch up to you down the road. Versus just really choosing to have a different lifestyle, a different diet, to be open to exploring how you can heal, with different types of medicines, not just traditional Western. Eastern is the business, y'all. But you got to choose to address it. Emotionally, there are so many emotionally unstable people I know walking around causing mayhem, y'all. They cause mayhem in their own lives. They cause mayhem for everybody else. Then they raise these kids, and they babies don't know no better than what mama and daddy been putting on them. All that emotional abuse, and then it just carries and carries and carries. We can't sit in that dysfunction. Psychologically, the same thing. You know how many mental health issues I see just walking, bipolar, schizophrenia, walking around undiagnosed, just because their parents probably saw something, and it's so much better when they're younger, probably saw something when they were younger, and they might not have had the resources. But a lot of times it's a stigma that gets attached in certain families where they're like, oh, my baby ain't gonna be called that. But if you had caught that when they were younger, and there's disturbing behavior that's happening when they're younger, you could end up saving their lives. And all of this that I'm talking about, being sick, being emotionally unregulated, and allowing that to control you, having psychological issues that are untreated, living a life where you're truly not happy, and that's on the spiritual side, where you're around people that you don't like, you're around people that aren't supporting you, you're around people that slowly chip away at you and emotionally abuse you, or you're not living your life that you choose to live in passion. That will all slowly eat you alive. And it's easy to allow that to happen. It's easy to accept your life of suffering to slowly eat you alive till you're gone. Because this life is short. But choosing now to open your eyes and to choose to want to know more, to choose to see the truth, to choose to feel the emotions and feelings and the fear that could come from knowing the truth about yourself, and then having to take the actions to hold yourself accountable to make the change for your betterment and for your children's betterment and for the future generations to come. Whether that's dropping certain people or people who self-opt out your life, because when you're going through healing, it's going to be ugly, and the people around you going to have to deal with your ugliness too, and they're going to have to support you. Or having to change habits that you really think are good for you but are really bad. Changing your lifestyle. Just doing things differently than you've ever been accustomed to. It is going to be hard. But that hard work is so that you can live. So that you can live freely. So that you can live abundantly. So that you can live happily. So that you can enjoy living. I am sick of living to live. I want to live to live. Everybody's so preoccupied about dying. Can we focus on living? And in order to really live, we have to be healthy all the way around, financially, spiritually, in our relationships, with our bodies. We have to choose to live and to focus on now and making this really meaningful, because it is, y'all. I hope this is relevant. I hope it's helpful.